So it's another beautiful day here in sunny Southwest Florida. Today, another 3 for 3 break and retest. Same strategy, same system, everything the same. And I want to go ahead and share these trades with you guys today. Spending some time outside, touching some grass. I have not been able to touch grass very often lately, and it feels very nice to have some sun on my face. A lot of work on the mentorship coming soon. You guys that are staying informed very, very soon. Hopefully, that is going to be a really helpful thing to some of you guys out there. Only 50 people to start, but we're going to hopefully expand it later on. But keeping it sort of small, keeping it very focused for you guys that do join. So I've been working a lot on that in the background. As you guys may know, I'm building a home, a custom home that's taking a lot of my time, a lot of hours during the day, making decisions, dealing with builders, dealing with different trades, and man, that's quite a process in itself. And on top of all of that, we're staying locked in on the trading, on the break and retest, simplifying things, picking and choosing the right trades, being more precise with the entries and exits, and something that I've really adopted lately, the no trade zone, the NTZ. If you guys come to the live streams, you know about the NTZ, and mapping out my NTZ, mapping out my no trade zone has been huge to some of the precision and not over trading and really staying disciplined into where I should set up trades, where I shouldn't set up trades. And in today's video, while we talk about the 3 trades that I took today, all break and retest, 3 for 3, beautiful trades, up over 10, 15, I think close to $15,000 today, I'm going to also talk about the no trade zone and how I've been mapping this out in the pre-market, getting an idea of where I want to take action, where I don't want to take action, using that NTZ to really guide my trade. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video today. We are going to jump back inside, starting the video out here on the lanai. Another reason that I make videos out here in the lanai is because something called the tax write-off. If I make videos out in the lanai that I built, I can write off a portion of it as workspace. So back into the office, beautiful whiteboard. Hope you guys are enjoying the whiteboard. If you are, let me know. This has been an awesome thing to work with intraday, but let's jump into the computer. You can see it's sleeping right now because there has been no more trading going on, which is a big plus, right? Getting away from these screens, getting out of the office, and just getting away from the market after you do a great job to go 3 for 3. Once you get those wins, getting away is so important. So let's fire the beast back up and let's start reviewing some trades. So guys, heading into every market day, something that I've been really focusing on is signaling out and focusing on my NTZ. My NTZ, up on the screen, you can see the no trade zone. And what I mean by no trade zone is not like, oh my God, there's no opportunities in this area. It's something for me to say, in this area, I don't think that action will be A+, and in this area, I think there could be a lot of fake outs and lack of continuation, and within this area, I want to stay away from action, right? And so coming into today, there was a very clear no trade zone for me, and for me, that was between this area right here, anywhere under 5250 and above 5200. I'm going to go ahead and mark this out with a gray zone. To me, this was where I did not want to get involved in trading the overall market, right? So between this area, I felt like there was a lack of continuation that was possible, and I didn't want to get involved in the overall market. I didn't want to try to fade the 5250 high, and I didn't want to try to long the 5200 low. And the reason for that is because I have some very clear levels here. I have the previous close here around 5200. I have a very clear previous attempt of a hold here around 5200. I have this very clear pre-market low at 5200, and I have this very clear pre-market high and this previous day high at 5250, which is also the previous Wednesday's low. So I have a lot of levels at the 5250, right? I have an inflection point, I have an inflection point, and I have very major inflection points at 5200. And in the pre-market, I can see that the action between this area was not great, right? I can see we sort of got above it, traded back up, got back down, right? Just sort of chopped around. And so I could very easily say heading into the day, okay, well, if we stay under pre-market high and we stay above pre-market low, then we could very easily see a very choppy day right between those two levels. We could basically just trade below the pre-market high and above the pre-market low all day. And if we do that, then why am I even trading? If we're below the pre-market high and above the pre-market low and we're just trading in a tight channel, why am I getting all excited to trade options? Options are a directional beast. You need direction, whether it's to the upside or the downside. Without direction, you can't make money trading options. You can, but it's very difficult. And why put yourself in those difficult situations? So I've been mapping out these no trade zones, which have been helping me stay away from unwanted action. And so today, which was a blessing and was great, we got a break above my no trade zone. We got a break above 52.50, and we got a perfect break and retest of the exact pre-market high and of the exact previous day high. Now, we're not going to get into that trade yet because that wasn't the first trade of the day. The first trade of the day was MSTR. MSTR heading into today, I'll go ahead and pop up the analysis on the screen. You guys can see we provided this in DesiTA, and we also talked about this in the pre-market live stream. MicroStrategy has been rejecting the 330 level, which is also the simple moving average, the 100 simple moving average. Let me go ahead and pop that up. You guys can see right here, we have been rejecting the 330 level both last week, Monday, very harsh rejection at 330, and we were heading into that level again today. So you guys can see on this 30-minute chart, we have a very clear high at $330 per share. Now, heading into the pre-market, we also had some very clear strength on Bitcoin, and we saw how Bitcoin has been perfectly breaking and retesting the weekly level, right? Take a look at this Bitcoin chart. This is the Bitcoin futures. You guys should remember this if you stay tuned to my channel. We talked about these previous highs on Bitcoin needing to get retested after this big breakout. So we had a big breakout. We've been waiting for Bitcoin to come back down and retest this level. And over the last 3 weeks, look at the reaction that Bitcoin has had after retesting that 74,000 area. So we woke up this morning to some strength on Bitcoin. And if I look at MicroStrategy and I look at the weekly chart, it looks awfully similar, right? Look at this weekly chart on MicroStrategy. You have a breakout, you have a retest, and it's starting to curl back higher. So I knew I had some strength on Bitcoin, on the overall equity and in the overall sector, right? And so I said, okay, well, if we can get above this 330 level, that has been a very clear rejection point, right? Both in the short term, but also back here in the long term, right? 330, and we can go over again, 330, right? If we can get a break and retest above that level, then I am interested in possibly looking for a long, right? So right here, once again, hourly chart, 330, right? And what am I looking for? A break above that level, a retest of that level, and I want price action to show me that there is a strong hold coming in. And so let me go down to the 2-minute chart and let me show you exactly what we did today, over $330 per share. And so you can see right here, we open the market. Bell rings, market opens, MicroStrategy squeezes above our 330 level. Great. That's not the trade yet. The trade, we need to see it hold. So over the next 8 minutes, what did we see? MicroStrategy held above our 330 key level once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and I was entering long with a stop loss below that 330 level. So we found our key level. We waited for our strategy to set up. We set a plan. We had our stop. We knew our risk, and our targets were 340 and 350. And our targets both hit. If I pull up my TradeZella, you guys can see we can very cleanly track our statistics of this trade. Let me go ahead and make sure it looks beautiful for you. And on this trade, we made about $11,000, $12,000. We made about 25% with runners, $891 as a start, runners going all the way up to $17. So a 100% trade just about on runners, but you guys know I'm always scaling out and taking my profit. So the net P&L was about 25%, but runners going from 9 up to 12, up to 17, and totally out at 15. You guys can see that I was scaling out at the 340 target, and then I let some run into the 350 target, right? So just slowly scaling out of this position, and I think I did a killer job to allow this trade to work out after my entry, and you guys can see the entries were right here. So entry 933, entry 935, and you can see if we go back to the chart, 933, 935, is where we started to see the retest holding on. So 933 is right here, and 935 is right around here, and I was adding into this position with the stop loss under that 330 level. Once again, a break and retest long. Perfect setup, perfect continuation, scaling out as I got the move into my first target, into my second target. This was killer, and of course, we have it all recorded live for you to watch. The next trade, Netflix. Again, the same strategy once again. So we go back here to TradeZilla. We go to Netflix. You guys can see I have my playbook entered, the break and retest long. Playbooks are something that we're going to talk about a lot in the mentorship. You guys can see right here, executing that trade around 9:39 and scaling out over the next pretty much hour and a half. So you can see here on Netflix, enter right here, scale, 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 and scale, just milking that win. Drawdown, pretty much none on both trades today. If we go here, drawdown of around $1,700 on Netflix, drawdown on MicroStrategy of around none. No drawdown on MicroStrategy. And the last trade, which was SPX, which we'll get into momentarily, drawdown on this one, no drawdown either. Netflix, why did I take this trade? Where was the break and retest? Well, let's go and do our analysis. I'll go ahead and pop up our analysis on the screen. This is all in Desi TA before the market opens, and of course, talked about in the pre-market live stream every day for free on YouTube. If we go to Netflix and we go out to the 1 hour chart, let me go ahead and take off this gray area. Actually, we're going to go to the 4 hour chart here. If we go to the 4 hour chart here on Netflix, we can see that previously we had some important holds around 1024. We had some important breakdowns around 1024. If we go over, we can see right here over the last few days, now I'm going to break this down on the hourly. Over the last few days, we rejected 1024 on earnings, and yesterday on Monday, we rejected 1024 on the dot. So I figured, okay, Netflix is clearly showing me a place that it can't get back above, which is $1,024 per share. I have clearly seen that has been a rejection point, and if Netflix gets above this level and holds above it, I want to look for a long. Now, why was I interested in Netflix in the first place? This has a lot to do with understanding outperformance on an individual stock. We've seen a lot of weakness on the market, but Netflix is at all-time highs, tapping all-time highs today. This is a very strong outperforming stock. So any sign of strength on the market, you obviously know Netflix is going to outperform. And so I understood that today, and I wanted to make sure to keep an eye out on this stock to see if I can find an entry point. Now, of course, Netflix goes absolutely vertical off the open. So there's no entry, right? I didn't just chase along. I didn't just say, hey, I'm going to long Netflix just because it's going straight up. What did I wait for? What did I want to start to see? Well, guess what? Take a look. There's our 1024 level. Look at what we started to see above 1024 today, right? We saw Netflix holding, right? And after 8 to 10 minutes of this hold and this flag above our 1024 level, at some point you have to be able to say, hey, right, I have seen a very strong maintain above this. I can very easily place my stop loss below 1024. And if we fail back under it, so be it. That was a good attempt, and I liked how we were starting to see holds above. If we fail back below it, we take our L, we move on, next trade. But we see a very clear flag holding above our key 1024 level. Let's go ahead and take a shot to see if this can maintain and if we can get upside continuation. Well, that idea was exactly what I did. You guys can see right here, entering around 939. If we go back to the charts, 939 is right here. So entering there, 939, and this was all live again on WAP with the group, and we just got instantly paid and scaled out in the win. Another awesome trade. Now, the final trade, and I think probably the sexiest trade of them all, even though it wasn't the largest trade. This goes right back to our break and retest out of the NTZ and over key levels. So coming into today, you guys should know, if you're part of the pre-market live stream, you better know 5250. I hope that you know 5250, right? Because we're yelling and screaming 5250 all day. We have our no trade zone, and we say if we want to long today, we want to be above this Wednesday low, we want to be above the yesterday rejection point, and we want to be above pre-market high. So you have so many confluences here. You have Wednesday's lows, you have yesterday's rejection point, and you have the pre-market high from this morning, all at 52.50. So obviously, with the market heading into that level, into the open, we don't want to long into that level, right? Because guess what? That could be another rejection just like this. So we're not interested in longing into 52.50, but we should know that if we get above 52.50, if we break above pre-market high, if we break above yesterday's rejection, if we reclaim Wednesday's lows, then there should be some kind of an opportunity on a break and retest long entry. And so if I go down to the 2-minute chart here, which I have this beautifully recorded live for you guys to see, look at this thing of beauty. You guys can see market opens, a little bit of consolidation, no trade. Why? We're still in the no trade zone. There's no trades here. What do? We squeeze above our 52.50 level. What do we wait for? We wait for the retest. What do we wait to see? Some kind of a confirmation that we're attempting to hold. We see the flag forming. Once we see that green candle start to pop up, we take our long, we understand our risk, and we scale out into the win. What an awesome example of a break and retest bull flag and a break and retest long entry. This is textbook stuff today on the S&P 500. We had the plan, we had the level, we waited for our strategy, the strategy fired, we executed, we took profits, and we got the hell out. Beautiful. Perfect example of creating a plan, trusting the plan, trading the plan, executing, and leaving when the setup is over, right? And taking that win and walking away. Go ahead and pull up TradeZella for the SPX trade. This trade was about a 12% trade for me, but the runners obviously went a whole hell of a lot higher. You guys can see in at 24, out at 27, out at 29, scaling out into the win. My first entry was around 9:57. My last exit was 10:27, so about a 30-minute trade. 9:57 was right here, right? After we saw and after we waited for that confirmation that the hold was starting to come in. So in this quick lesson, I want to go ahead and talk about the most important part of a retest. Now, you may believe that the most important part of a retest is waiting for it to break out, waiting for it to come back, but that truly is not the number one thing to understand. Now, while we need to be patient for our key level to break out, so let's say, like today's example, 52.50 on the S&P 500, while we want to wait for us to break above that level and pull back to it, so we need the patience to wait for the break, and we need the patience to wait for the retest, right? We need to let it break out, not trade it, let it pull back, not trade it, right? This patience is very difficult and something that is required, but the most important part is this area, right? This area right here. After we break out, after we pull back, what is the price action that's going on here after the retest has occurred, right? So when the retest occurs, the price action right here is what pays you. Understanding this price action is the key. And that is something that we're going to talk about and really break down in today's lesson. That is a wick higher, leaving behind a strong wick at the retest level. That's great. That's what we want to see. Next candle, wick and a green bar candle that engulfs the previous action. Stop loss is below our retest level. 52.50 to 52.85 is about 35 points. 52.58 is where you could have entered, right around the 52.58. So you are risking 8 points to make 35 points. That is roughly a 5-to-1 risk reward. Call it like 4.5-to-1 risk reward. That's a trade all day. What a beautiful example today. So guys, I hope you are enjoying some of the whiteboard content. What an awesome example, straight from the whiteboard into the actual action today, right? Just sort of translating that action today onto the whiteboard. I think this just looks like an awesome mad science experiment up on the whiteboard. I'm going to probably leave that up there for a few days. It just looks great. And of course, we're going to continue to do these whiteboard lessons, especially on the WAP live streams where you guys come hang out and trade live with me every day. And for sure in the mentorship, that's where it's really going to get deep. So I hope you're enjoying some of the education. I hope you're enjoying the new addition to the educational content. I love going up there and I love explaining it. And I hope that this trade today on the S&P can just be a really clear indication of what you should be looking for every day if you are looking to trade the retest strategy. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. The 3 trades that I took: Netflix, MicroStrategy, and the SPX call using the break and retest. Hope you guys see it, and I hope you understand. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Okay, looking good. So long 330, nice push there. I might take some profits here. Up 10% here. Yeah, contract's moving a little strange. No, right? Are you guys seeing this? Contract's moving like crazy. Good beginning start. Very nice. Love it. Just a nice little 330 break and retest. Nice. 10%. Okay, I love the contracts on Netflix. That's already 10% on Netflix. So that's great. Now, you don't know if it's a trap. You just have your stop loss under 52.50. It's the exact level you need it to hold. So it's a very structured idea. You can see our exact 52.50 starting to hold. All right, I'm going to try 5 here. I just entered 52.30 SPX calls. I entered 5. I want to enter 10, but I'm going to enter light to start because I'm still a little iffy on it. But it's a pretty damn clear break and retest at 52.50 and 521 SPY. Target to I would profit take at high a day, and then I would try to run more higher if we get there. I would profit take at high a day and then run the rest higher. I would take like 3 off at high a day and then run 2. I mean, that's about as clean of a retest hold as you're going to get of our exact 52.50 level that came straight from the 8 a.m. live stream. I mean, if you can't follow that, then we just aren't. It's basically just a lack of trust in our ability. Just a lack of trust in our game plan. So I have to trade that. Like, that's how I think. I don't care if I lose there. If I'm going to watch a 52.50 break and retest, which is exactly what we talked about, then why am I even waking up at 8 a.m.? I might as well just wake up at 9:30 and have no game plan. All right, I'm not saying that this is going to break out and give us a straight move, but you have to at least try that. It's going to be it. Just going to let this ride a little bit. Hold some runners.